If you like to talk about combat sports and you want to join the discussion, click the subscribe button below and the bell notification icon next to it and join Knucklehead Nation. Fighters Rep 7 Fighting Prides, Saturday, July 27th, 2019 at the Ames Sportsplex in Seal Beach, California. Tickets now on sale at fightersrep.com or watch it live right here on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, we're here with none other than Blake Bulletproof Troop. We already know who you are, bro. We already know who you are. We wanted to get together today, Blake, because you've got a crazy idea for a fight. Initially, I thought it was crazy, but it's starting to grow on me a little bit. And it's not even really a fight you're involved in. It's a fight that you're proposing for the universe, for UFC.
For the fans. I'm proposing this for the fans. I would love to see this fight, so I'm going to jump right into it. My bad to cut you off.
No, do it.
But the fight that I think that needs to happen right now, after watching UFC this past weekend and being a big fan for a long time, is a unification of the 135-pound belt, the bantamweight belt, between Henry Cejudo, the 135 and 125-pound champion.
Triple C,
King of Cringe, versus Amanda Nunes, the female 135 bantamweight champion, and the 145-pound weight champion for the women. And I know a lot of people think this fight's crazy. Like, dude, you're going to have a guy fight a girl? And in most cases, I agree with you. That, no offense, ladies, but I think most dudes could beat most chicks' asses in the same weight class, you know? Like,
yeah.
It's no offense. But, dude, I think this is one of those exceptions, you know? Because typically you'd expect the guy to be bigger and stronger. Cejudo's the 25-pound champion and 35 who came up. But I wouldn't say he's a little 35er, but he's definitely not a big 35er.
No, he was getting towered over by Moraes.
You know? And Nunes is a pretty big 35er who's also the 45-pound champion, who's probably natural weight's 35, but she cuts to make that. So you're talking about her being the bigger, I don't know if I'd say stronger, but bigger. No, definitely, in my opinion, has the much more power in the hands. Given she's hitting girls and knocking girls out, and not guys.
Yeah.
But she's got knockout power. She's knocked out world champion Holly Holm.
Cyborg.
If
you could knock out Cyborg, you could knock her guy out.
It was like fucking kind of lucky or something. Bro, she went in and stood in the pocket like, dude, she's got the power to knock out Henry Cejudo. She's got the size where she's not going to necessarily be able to get bullied so much, you know, like, where she'll be able to kind of fend off some of that dude's strength, which, like I was saying, you know, like, I think there's definitely a big difference in the physical ability of guys versus girls in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
But I think the size difference is made up for in the weight difference. Given Henry Cejudo, I bet they'll come in very similar weight-wise, you know, but I don't think that you're going to see the typical disadvantage that I would assume that you'd have a 35 guy versus a 35-pound girl. A significant physical disadvantage. And you're talking about now. So now that we've gotten past the man versus woman, you're talking about arguably the male GOAT, you know, like, dude, she's two-weight champion in the UFC, gold medal in the Olympics. Like, you're talking about somebody who's absolutely in the conversation of the best to do it in MMA. And on the other end of the spectrum with Nunes, you're absolutely, I think, hands down. I don't know who else people could say, like,
She-Hulk. She's She-Hulk.
Dude, you know, you're talking about GOAT
versus GWOAT.
Versus GOAT,
versus
you know?
GWOAT.
I mean,
greatest woman of all time. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, I could say, okay, there we go. So the GOAT and the WOAT. Where I could absolutely see, because you're talking about the greatest of each, which in any other weight class, given them, no offense, ladies, but you just don't have competitive athletes necessarily so much in the higher weight classes like men. Like, it goes up to 45 pounds. Yeah. You know, so I couldn't see this happening in so many divisions, but this is a place where I could see it going down, you know, where you can have an actual fucking greatest versus a greatest.
Yeah.
Cross, and I wouldn't call it cross promotion, but it somewhat is. It's absolutely the first of its kind blockbuster move. And do I think that you'll typically see intergender fights? No, I don't. I think it'll be very rare. But I think it's got to happen at some point. Just like in professional wrestling, they're starting to do it at the times when it makes sense. And I think that this is one of those times that it makes sense. You know, GOAT versus GOAT, how intergender. And so the next thing is, you know, so I know a lot of people are probably like, a dude versus a chick. I don't know, bro. It's kind of crazy. And I agree with you. But at the end of the day, the UFC is a for-profit business. This would be a blockbuster fight. The blockbuster fight of my generation, probably. An intergender fight especially if the woman wins in this time and day of fight for equality. It's an equality fucking landmark move. Do I think it would happen all the time? No. Do I think in most cases I would disagree with it? Yes, absolutely. But this is one of those times where we could see what the fuck happens. And I think it would be very entertaining. I would love to see this fight. Like, this is why I'm so excited. If you can't tell, I'm excited for this one.
I don't know if you're crazy for proposing it or I'm crazy for you starting to convince me.
Bro, it's growing on you, though. Because now you're like, maybe. Because, dude, she's knocked people out. You know, and Henry Cejudo's eating shots. He's gotten losses, you know, and, like, he's coming up against a tough girl who's been running people over. Bad motherfuckers.
Yeah. She's not... There's no female on her. The only one that's given her sort of a run, I think, has been Shevchenko. But she just can't beat it. She's not big enough to beat her, it doesn't seem like. But she's been running through everybody, like you said.
And the thing is, if she beats a guy, it kind of gives her the opportunity to be like, okay, I'm done with the sport. Like, there's nothing else for me to do. Y'all can... I don't want to hold up the debate. Like, y'all can fucking... I would love for her to keep fighting her, so I'm not... But if she beats... Now you're talking about a greatest ever, like... Because people are always going to argue shit, but she's the first chick to beat a dude. And whenever the first time something happens in history, like they broke the 4-minute mile, then fucking a bunch of people start doing shit.
And everybody does it, yeah.
Where who knows what this could open the door for in women in combat sports or in any type of thing in life. It's just another thing where breaking through a glass ceiling of some sorts. I mean, like, I don't know if it, but who knows what the fuck could happen.
Yeah.
And so, money, I could see this bringing in so much money. Because all the women would be like...
Goodness.
And everyone would be talking bad about it, but the thing is, everyone would be talking about this fight.
Everybody would watch that. Everybody would watch that.
Whether they're like, this is like a train wreck, I can't not watch it.
Yeah.
And given she'd be probably a big underdog, but I mean, I don't think it'd be that lopsided of a fight, man. And I think if it was a really lopsided fight, it would either be Henry Cejudo holding her down the whole time, which I don't think he would do, or her knocking him out. And it being Henry Cejudo fighting Nunes is... He has to come in there and knock this girl out or put her away.
God,
otherwise, it's a huge lose-lose situation.
He has so much to lose in that fight, dude.
Not only that, but you're fighting for the 125-pound division because Dana White, if you really want to get rid of that division, then what better way to make the champ lose to a girl? No offense, ladies, and I'm not trying to fucking push any weird. But Dana White, if you're really trying to get rid of the division, and all these people are like, oh, I hate that dude. He's so cringy. What would be cringier than losing to a girl? Again, no offense, ladies, but like, in 99.99999% of these matchups, I would think that. But maybe this is the fight that happens that changes that mentality, and you're like, man, who knows?
Maybe women can, whatever they don't have.
I think that there's definitely some girls that I think
technique,
can beat some guys and stuff. I'm just talking about when you're talking about this highly
this
level
at
of
this
an
level,
athlete. In almost any, maybe not any sport, but any combat sport, I couldn't see a 135-pound female wrestler out wrestling 100. Both, if you're talking about both highest of the high, no offense, ladies, but just a physical difference. It's just like these boys who keep winning all this stuff in state, like high school state wrestling. It's that are, like no shit. It's kind of a little bit.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Well, I think physically, it's somewhat of cheating. Nothing against people with that, and it definitely becomes a very sticky situation because I respect people's ability to want to be whatever the fuck they want. But if you want to talk about sports competition, I think it definitely puts a complicating factor on that.
Well, here's the thing with Amanda Nunes and the Cejudo fight that you're proposing. He's a small guy. She's big.
She's got knockout power. She's mean. She'll try and knock you out.
She's got knockout power with her hands, and now she showed with her feet too.
Black belt judo, black belt Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
There you go.
Olympic wrestling on the other end, where she could catch him in a sub. It's not unrealistic. Where she's like,
and she's training with dudes for sure at American Top Team.
No doubt,
for sure. And I've even heard
top dudes.
This was before I actually predicted her to knock Ronda Rousey out because a buddy of mine, I had heard it, and then a buddy of mine had heard it too and confirmed it with me beforehand. Like my buddy David Arvello.
Don't put people's names on blast and talk about.
Well, no, he's a manager with Sucker Punch, and he knows he's got a bunch of guys at ATT that he manages. And I heard some rumblings too. I'm from South Florida. I heard a bunch. I heard stuff like she could hurt men. Like she
I
hurts
believe
men
that.
bad.
Anybody who doesn't think a chick can do damage to a dude
yeah.
that has never been hit by chicks who really train, especially.
Like what I heard was, okay, she hits just like one of the dudes, and I was just
believe
like,
that.
damn. So
I think that's far and few between. You know, no offense, ladies,
yeah.
but for the most part, dudes are gonna hit significantly harder.
Yeah.
I think she's got it, dude. I think she has the skill set to do it.
Yeah, no,
And
then
the right
knocking out.
matchup. And given, do I think she can beat the majority of 135ers? I think it'd be tough. You know, there's some really tough guys. Like, but I think this matchup would be very fun to watch, and I think that she has a chance of walking away and looking fucking good and getting a potential knockout.
Could you imagine the UFC promotional machine promoting that fight?
Dude, bro, this is the blockbuster fight of a lifetime. And now's the time to do it. Henry Cejudo's coming off a shoulder injury, so he's got 6, 7, 8 months. Okay, we're gonna fucking have this big. We're gonna sell the shit out of this fight. We're gonna talk about, fucking GOAT versus GOATs. Fucking get their PR machine behind it. And Nunes says something comes out. I'm the best 35-pounder to ever do it, and I want to come over to the bro.
She would take that fight. I feel like she would take that fight without even thinking twice.
I bet she would. And the way because she already comes out with a little lion thing to weigh-ins, like, dude, they get so professional wrestling the fuck out of this in the pre-hype buildup. You know, her being like, dude, I'm the best woman to ever do it. Fucking fight me, let me fight for that belt now, and I'm gonna fucking beat him, and I'm gonna be done with this sport because I'm fucking that good. And how big this fight would be if they're able to promote it like this, and put all this fucking
1 billion people would watch that fight.
Oh,
everybody would watch that
the
fight.
thing is everybody, the chick watches the fight with them. It doesn't really care so much to do it. And Ronda Rousey's the first girl who came in and started smashing it. Women went nuts for her.
Yeah.
And she was beating girls.
Ronda Rousey, this is something I always like to bring up to people as a promoter and someone who appreciates marketing like yourself, you know? I think me and you have a similar mentality when it comes to marketing. Ronda Rousey did for MMA in UFC 25, 26 years been around. Didn't they just have the 25-year anniversary or something? Like? She did for MMA in 25 years what boxing has yet to do for women
100%.
In hundreds of years. You know what I mean?
100%. I think it'd be tough for boxing to even do that. Nothing against boxing. I just think that MMA is at a very focal point of the sport. And not only that, I think it's the rebirth of combat sports. I think a lot of people lost interest in boxing because it gets drawn out. And it's a lot more I wouldn't say a lot more of a strategy game, but you'll see more decisions and more guys giving a round off and fighting until something breaks.
Another thing about boxing,
for the most part,
I think a huge difference between boxing and especially the fights that you watch in the UFC are there's such a disparity in the A side versus the B side. You know what I mean? Boxing, who's going to win going into it 99% of the time, whereas with the UFC, you're always getting surprised. A lot of times there's a favorite, but man, how many times do you go to the sports book, let's say, and you bet on a bunch of fights for UFC and you're like, damn, I got a few of those wrong, because it was a toss-up. Whereas with boxing, let me tell you,
a lot of fights,
man. And with boxing, I hit that sports book up. It's a killing for me because you kind of just go with the favorite and they typically win.
Yeah, I think that I don't know. See, I can't speak enough on boxing stuff or the betting about it, but I would definitely agree with you in the terms of there's a lot more avenues to lose in mixed martial arts than there is in boxing.
Too, yeah,
boxing, it's you get punched in the head or get punched in the body.
Yeah,
Not that it's that simple, but you can't get submitted, you can't get arm locked, you can't get leg locked, choked out. There's a bunch of different things that could happen to end the fight.
Right.
Where you have to be good in a lot of areas, or where a fight you can get taken down real quick, and a fight gets
which is the intrigue for this fight you're proposing.
Just such a small thing can shift the momentum, and Nunes has what it takes to end the fight like that.
Yeah.
Not that she can just walk out and it's going to be that easy, but who hasn't she knocked out, made look easy too?
When she did Cyborg the way she did her, I was like, oh.
Bro, my jaw dropped.
Bro. Because Cyborg, for me, Cyborg is like the closest thing to a dude that you can get as far as physical attributes.
She's like a bad, scary, tough, powerful, fucking banger. I mean, she's got what it takes, dude.
And she lit her up in second. It was less than a minute or something. She
Something
lit
like
her
that.
up, dude. It was hilarious. It's hilarious to me that you would propose this.
But dude,
It's
how many
grown
of
on
you
me.
people watching are now kind of intrigued by this fight? Like, to be honest, when I first heard it, you're like, this motherfucker, really?
Yeah.
Now that you've kind of heard it and heard some of the details, I wouldn't surprise me with this fight.
I mean, her
happens.
reach is so much longer than his, I would imagine.
She's the bigger fighter.
Yeah, she's bigger. She's
If someone's going to be the
definitely
bully in there, it's going to be her bullying him.
bigger. Yeah. Unless, I mean, he just runs her down and wrestles her down, which is probably what he's going to
But-
have to do.
For the first round or two, but bro, you keep that up, people are going to be booing like a motherfucker.
That's true.
And you want to be that dude?
And she trained.
He's got to beat her ass. He has to.
And
He has to keep it exciting. And to what, you going to stand there and bang with Amanda Nunes?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
That's imagine how intimidated you'd be as Henry Cejudo.
My God,
You know,
damn it.
knowing what you have to lose.
This motherfucker bulletproof troop is telling the whole world I should fight a girl.
Oh my God. Dude.
Sorry, Henry, I really want to watch this fight.
Imagine they get into it like an exchange in close quarters and she tags him.
Dude, like, not that he can't knock her out. He 100% can. I just don't think that
Yeah,
anyone
yeah,
needs to be
yeah.
convinced of that.
Yeah.
Dude, she can knock his ass out. I bet a lot of y'all didn't think that before, but I bet you she can knock his ass out. Anybody can knock anybody out, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
she's
yeah.
got the power and the confidence to throw her attacks in a way that, dude, she's landed on, knocked out people that I had counted her out against multiple times now.
Yeah. Damn.
God, I hope this fight happens.
This is so
Henry
hilarious.
Cejudo versus Amanda Nunes, unification of the bantamweight belt. First ever intergender fight in probably not ever in any MMA, but in terms of a big promotion here.
Yeah. They would have to do like that world tour would be insane.
Dude.
Insane. That
A
would be
Spanish speaking and a Brazilian
and a Portuguese.
and an
Oh
American
my
fucking
God.
dude, they could totally go around the world with this.
Brazil, Mexico.
Dude, they could get all the Battle of Americas. It could be such a big
God.
fight, bro. Like this could be the biggest fight of our lifetime. I think it could be, bro.
Yeah, that would make so much money. It's ridiculous.
Money and social change. I mean, like, you want to talk about the next big social movement of fight. I mean, I'd say the last big social thing was Muhammad Ali getting stripped of the belt because he didn't want to go to fucking Vietnam.
Yeah.
And it's a big social thing in his time that fucking is extremely relevant to the time. Like, dude, this is one of those, this could be a fucking breakthrough. So even if she doesn't win, her going in there and having the opportunity to be in there and having all these people like, dude, this could fucking happen. Because, dude, I 100% believe in my heart that Amanda Nunes can knock out Henry Cejudo. And I think that she'd be a big underdog, but she's who I'd bet on if that fight happened. And I think that she would win.
You would bet on her
I'd
as
bet
well.
on her too, bro. I bet she'd be like a 6, 7, 8 to 1 underdog. Bro, you know who else I bet on made a lot of money was
Shit,
Holly Holm versus Ronda Rousey. Because I know who Holly Holm was.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, there's 12 to 1 odds. And I was like, these people are crazy. And I was like, Dad, put $100 on it. He put 100 for me and for himself. Fucking made like $2,500.
Very nice, man. Very nice.
I've gambled like a few times. And Pro Cop versus Gonzaga. And I was like, dude, Gonzaga's gonna smash this fool. What a fuckload of money on that.
How'd you know about that one?
I was working at the fight. I watched fighting for a long time, bro.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was gonna be a head kick KO. I didn't get that.
Yeah.
But I just watched fighting. I knew who both of them were. I thought Crow Cop was over the hill, and I thought fucking he was gonna get smashed.
That's funny. The crowning achievement, I guess you could say, of my predictions, since you're sharing yours, was I picked Fury to beat Klitschko the first fight that they had. And I was just like, man, what? Have people never seen this man box? The guy's a genius, you know? And he went out there and just schooled him in his hometown, you know? And I was like, I told you so to everybody. You know?
So that's like, dude, when I saw Ruiz and Joshua, and I was like, dude, this guy's fucking, like, y'all think that he's not very good. And I was like, this dude's a bad dude.
Yeah,
Especially if you've seen him hit mitts.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, he knocked out one of my training partners, Joe Hanks, when they fought.
I saw that.
I knew exactly who this dude was, and I was like, bro, this is a bad motherfucker. And everyone was counting him out, and I was like, dude, Anthony Joshua's an athlete. And dude, that was where that change was in that fight. They both connected with left hooks, and Joshua, the athlete's kind of like, whoa. And Ruiz just like, donkey to two. He's just like, fuck that. And fucking puts him down, bro. And that was the end.
Yeah.
Fucking athlete versus a fighter, man. And that's another thing. Nunes is a fucking fighter. Henry Cejudo, I can't say isn't a fighter. He's for sure an athlete.
Oh, yeah.
But Nunes is a fucking athlete and a fighter. She's a fucking scrapper.
He's such a competitor, that guy, though, man.
I agree. Being an Olympic athlete,
yeah,
anything, especially a gold medal Olympic athlete.
To be a gold medal Olympic athlete, beat DJ for a title, then beat TJ.
On juice, too.
Yeah, on the juice, and
put him away
destroy him, destroy him. And then beat Marias, who was just tearing things up. Man.
He's been tearing things up for a long time.
And despite all of that, your earlier today seemingly ridiculous proposal is really interesting to me. I mean, look, I kind of want to keep the genders separate in combat sport, especially in MMA, because I agree with you. I feel like there's a physical advantage that men have that's just very difficult to make up.
She's the bigger fighter, arguably. He's coming up to fight her.
She's an exception to the rule. Her and Cyborg, as far as like physical attributes and qualities, are exceptions to the rule for sure, man. For sure.
Yeah, and those exceptions are far and few between. When I think a guy and a girl should be matched up against each other, far and few between. And I absolutely give a lot of Nunes' technique credit in overcoming some of this physical difference between being a guy and a girl, and the size difference is also part of it.
Yeah.
But dude, she's got the power, the technique, and the fucking balls to throw the technique where she could finish that fight. If she could put Cyborg away, she could put. She could knock out any 35er, in my opinion. I think she'd have a lot more trouble with some of the other ones, like a natural 35er. But I'd say he's not a natural. I mean, I wouldn't say he's not a natural, but he can make 25.
Yeah.
So like a smaller 35er. If you start talking about a big fucking top 5 35er, I mean, I think but there's other guys she could beat. I think she could beat a good amount of guys at 35. She really
can, man. It's scary.
And that's no offense to anybody that fights at 135 pounds either. It's just so much credit that I'm giving Amanda Nunes. She's
a beast, bro. She's going out there and wrecking people, and like Dana White said, she's not even hurt. She just took Holm out in the first round. He said she was skipping down the hallway afterwards. She's ready to go, man.
And who hasn't she done that to? Yeah. Cyborg, Holm, Nunes. Yeah. She has just been fucking bitches up.
Rousey.
Yeah, Rousey.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And you're talking about people that it's fuck. Holly Holm's like a 7-time boxing champion,
That's
fucking
true.
5-time Muay Thai world champion. Ronda Rousey, I wasn't crazy surprised, but Ronda Rousey's Ronda Rousey.
Cyborg, I
was shocked.
Yeah. I was expecting more from Cyborg on that one. So anyway, Blake Troop would bet on Amanda Nunes. Blake Troop is a professional fighter, but you got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, man, I'm always making shit happen.
What's next for you?
I'm looking at a handful of different options. I've been dabbling around a little bit of professional wrestling, been training for a while, and teasing my debut a little bit now. We'll see, that might happen sometime in the fall of 2019. We'll see. I got this beef with the professional wrestler, the Ronin heavyweight wrestling champion, Greek god Papadon. So I'm going to get my hands on you someday soon.
I've been seeing that on social media.
Yeah,
starting drama.
Well, we got into it. He walked up to me and pushed me at a show when he was coming out of the ring after a match, and he's lucky I didn't beat his ass. But I don't go around serving up ass whoopings for free, There's a fucking hefty price tag associated with catching an ass whooping from Bulletproof Troop. But so luckily, Bumps and Bruises, an independent wrestling promotion here in Southern California, has offered to put the money up to get me and Papadon in the ring with each other. So me and Pop are going to be lining up sooner or later. We'll see when that's going to work around my schedule. And then in terms of fights that I got, I've gotten some cool offers. I was supposed to fight Brandon Halsey, former Bellator champion, in June, and he pulled out in kind of weird, shady circumstances. I feel like he ducked me. Brandon, I think you're a little bitch.
Oh, jeez.
In really shady circumstances. And that was a co-main event for LFA. And so that didn't end up happening. And I was coming off an injury and stuff, so I didn't rush back. I was going to rush back a little early for him, but I thought he was a name worth coming back for. And all the names they gave me, I wasn't too excited on. So LFA will be back like August. Lights Out's got a show coming up. Bare-knuckle's got stuff coming up. Bellator's coming to town. There's all kinds of things going on in Southern California. So, who knows where you might find Bulletproof Troop next. Expect me to be fighting on TV somewhere. That's what I would say.
You've been hinting at this bare-knuckle thing more than I care for.
I'm a big fan, man. I watched the Paulie versus Artem fight.
Yeah.
I expect a little more action in that, but I've watched a handful of their events now, and I'm intrigued by it. I think it's fucking badass. It's a lot of fun to watch. It's 5 2-minute rounds, and man, fucking that's my, like, I go hard, and like if I can have 2 minutes on, 1 minute off, oh man, that's me able to. That's like the time frame to run people over for me.
And no grappling either, so you would just be able to throw hands.
Bang, man! Like I don't wrap my hands. My hands are fucking. And I found out I was really good at fighting by fighting people. Like I'd be super down to do bare knuckle. My hands are.
Wait. You found out you were really good at fighting people?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What happened?
Before I started training.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you did like a practice bare knuckle fight or something.
No, like. I mean, I guess you could call a lot of my street fights practice bare knuckle fights.
There you go.
Just like I've been in a lot of fights in my life. It's how I realized how good I was at fighting.
That Artem Lobov Malignaggi fight was a little uneventful, I must say.
I agree it was uneventful, but I thought they did a great build-up that showed, in my opinion, that shit talking and stuff can really build a fight and help with it. I've heard differing things about the numbers, but with the amount of interest I had in the fight and that I saw about things in the fight, I wouldn't be surprised if the numbers were closer to what the numbers that were first reported were, which were pretty big numbers. Supposedly doubled UFC's numbers and stuff. I could see that being true, and I could also see false press trying to fucking smash him and bury him early, because if you discredit him like that, so I could see it being anywhere in between. I'm really in the fight community, so maybe that's why I saw a lot more stuff about it.
Such a disparity though between, I think they were reporting 200 G's and now it's 18. I mean, that's such a huge freaking disparity.
It makes me wonder about maybe if there's different places where they're looking at one platform, and only on one platform through like streaming through their website they got 18,000. I don't know shit about how any of that works, so I can't jump to pass judgment on one way or the other. I don't know enough of the details to really formulate it. I can just go upon how much interest I had in the build up and the things that I saw in regards to that, the posting on social media, which it seemed like it was very popular to me and amongst fight fans and in forums and things like that. What the actual popularity is, I don't know. I don't know what those numbers were. I was interested in the fight. I enjoyed a lot of the fights on the card.
Yeah.
That kid Dakota Cochran, man, that kid's a fucking stud.
Yeah.
He's been smashing people, and I've counted him out a few times. Knocked out Johnny Hendricks, beat Chris Liepin. True.
It's for me. I mean, stop me when you disagree with my analysis. I feel like it's not going to get the guys paid initially what the UFC is going to pay a guy, right? And then so it's almost like, if you have options, are you going to go there and make that your career? Or are you going to go for boxing or MMA? Because people say it's not as, hard on the brain as boxing or whatnot, but I just feel like...
What, bare knuckle?
Yeah, but I feel like...
tear your face up.
Yeah, right, that's what I'm saying. And then it's
I wouldn't be going... If it was for me specifically, I wouldn't be necessarily trying to make a career in any one area. If anything, I'm trying to build my brand of Bulletproof Troop across the board of combat sports. By kind of dabbling in a few different areas of it. And I think when you want to start talking about, I want to start calling myself the king of combat sports, and I call myself professional badass, this, that, and the other, I think a bare knuckle boxing fight only adds to the value of my brand, where it's you want to run it, what rules you want to run it? MMA, boxing, bare knuckle boxing, professional wrestling, Brazilian, where I can start sitting here with a bunch of these different rule sets that I have a bunch of accolades, wins, I've had a professional boxing promoter hit me up.
Nice.
Where I've considered doing that, depending on what pay was in different areas, do I get some pro boxing wins in and then do bare knuckle boxing, just try and go right for the belt on my first, or I have some different potential routes, where I've been thinking about that shit. I have, how many bare knuckle fights I'd have. I'd like to have at least one. If I can see that sport continuing to grow. That's why I don't know how much I believe about those numbers being reported one way or the other. I can just gauge what I saw in interest. I think it'll be a much harder sport for the public to accept because of the extra bloodiness, the no gloves. It definitely looks a little more brutal, more entertaining to watch, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think it'll be harder to be socially acceptable. Do I think it'll be as big as UFC? Probably not. But do I think that they can have a once every other month or once a month niche market that's can put on a decent show by having fucking select names that they build up the card properly? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Almost kind of like earlier UFC, where it's like once every 3, 4, 6 weeks, you know, and then kind of hype up the fights. I could see them doing something similar to that now, where now there's a UFC fight every weekend.
It is very much earlier UFC. That's what it feels like.
It's very much, you know, where it's fucking still brutal. I'd say there's a much more fighters in it than athletes.
Athletes, yeah.
You know, because I think that it's definitely more of a fucking scrap, you know, like not having gloves on, getting fucking clocked right in the face, you know, like it's a fist fight.
There is more of like
it's 5 2-minute rounds, like have at it. Ain't no, all right, we're gonna dance for, bro, there's 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You're like, have at it. It's the right amount of time to really go out and, okay, rest, bang, bang.
There's a savagery to it. That I think attracts the fighters versus the athletes. Like
yeah, and I think that would only help build my brand, you know, and I think it'd be dope. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I think it'd be a cool thing to be able to, looking back, I feel like I would regret not having a match if I had at least one fight.
Yeah.
Well, I think if it was like 15 years down the line where I'd be like, I should have done a bare-knuckle fight.
You're a monster.
And I might even do multiple ones. I'll play one fight at least initially, see what's up. But I mean, I got so many cool things on the table that I'm not necessarily in a hurry to jump into something. I want to see what all's around, man. I've been putting a lot of sweat equity into my company and reinvesting in myself and building networks and opportunities that I've got so many cool things on the table and people interested in me that I'm kind of see what the best routes for me to make the things happen that I want to have happen. That's why I was like, do I do some pro boxing fights and do bare-knuckle? Do I fight MMA? Am I going to jump into professional wrestling? How am I going to mix all of these up? Because, man, if I was doing boxing, MMA, professional wrestling, I could kind of do all those together, you know? Like, I feel like I could box 4 weeks before an MMA fight.
Maybe one day Fighters Rep Unified Rules kickboxing event.
But I'm a pro MMA guy, so you can't have an amateur.
Well, I'm not. Who says I'm going to keep doing amateur fights?
Oh, did y'all just...
Hint.
Y'all might have just gotten a little inside information. I would definitely be interested in that.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I love it. You know, I believe in the rule set.
I think it's super exciting.
So yeah, I mean, you've been all our events pretty much. Stand and bang. You know, not that. Fighting. Yeah, there's, you know, if you grapple, they're gonna break you up. You guys gotta just stand and bang it out. And I think it's almost like the bare knuckle thing, minus of course the bare knuckles. But there's
mean, the same concept of bang, bang.
But
bang.
there's kicks and shins and everything else, and knees.
I would absolutely be interested.
Yeah. But bare knuckle, man, very savage. I must say, even though I wouldn't want you, and I know you wouldn't pursue it as a career, anywhere that one bare knuckle that you're having is going to happen, that shit can be in fucking Timbuktu, bro. I'm flying out there to come watch, because if you guys don't know, Blake Troop is like 6'4". You're looking like 220 right now or something like. Yeah, you're huge right now, bro.
Yeah, I should have, Jim, bro. I just put up 370 on bench. 370. You better watch out. These guns don't come with the safety.
But yeah, watching you hit somebody flush bare knuckle would be
bad. Yeah. My knuckles are like used to hitting without wraps on. Like I never wrap my hands and hit fucking hard. You know, so it wouldn't like bother me to not have something on. Like I'm used to fist fighting people.
I would enjoy it very much.
Yeah.
So
you want to see that Cejudo?
Now you got me. I don't know how you did it, but you're kind of selling me on it. I would watch it. I mean, how could you not watch that? You can't be a fan of anything and not watch it.
Dude, this is a blockbuster fight of our generation.
And you know what? Everybody would watch that, whether they're fight fans or not.
Everyone would talk about it.
Just to see a woman fight a man.
Every news thing. It'd be everywhere.
And you know, talking about bare knuckle is a good segue into this subject, you know, even though we've segued back and forth. But if the state of Florida was willing to sanction bare-knuckle, I'm sure we can get, even if not a sanctioning body, maybe at first like a reservation or something to be okay with a man fighting.
It would, dude, the amount of money in this fight, just the athletic commission is going to be pissed. And it's going to take some convincing, but when you tell them with the amount of money that they're going to make from having this fight in Las Vegas,
oh yeah,
it's going to be in Las Vegas. It's going to be it's going to be, dude, that's why I'm saying this is a blockbuster fight. Everywhere, like, it's a blockbuster, dude. Like,
you know where I would do it? At the Cosmopolitan. Don't all the ladies go to the Cosmopolitan? That's why I was saying we should do it at the Cosmo.
But dude, I think they would need a full-on. I think this is like a fight I could see them doing at that stadium in Las Vegas.
Oh no, this
is a giant stadium fight. This will be the biggest fight. If they make this fight happen, this will be the biggest fight of my generation. Way bigger than Conor McGregor versus Mayweather.
This would be
that might have made more money. But when you're talking, dude, I can't think of the last time a fight has had this importance in social. I mean, this is like.
There would be nothing like this.
Dude, I can't even think of anything of the magnitude of this.
No, there wouldn't be. I mean, this would be maybe like the first time, I don't know, an African American fought for a heavyweight championship or something like that.
Right, dude, you're, 100 years maybe?
Yeah.
100 years ago?
Yeah. And so everybody would watch, man. I think the whole world would watch that fight.
When you're talking about a political and equality type social issue attached to the sporting event, yeah, I mean...
There's nothing that would compare to that. I mean, what else could you have that could compare to
I think you're 100% right with it being like a racial thing. That's probably the last time there's been like an equality thing of people being able to compete together that were restricted before. Like, that one's a senseless restriction. I can understand the guy versus girl one. Now, like, in terms of biology, I can understand why you separate men and women in sports competition. But what if?
Yeah, no.
What if?
Because she's an exception to
Dude, she is. She could do it. She could do it.
Well, Blake, fantastic interview as usual. Somehow you're able to convince people. I think it's your marketing ability or your knowledge of the sport and your knowledge of human, biology. You also, you dabble in that. Yeah. It's obviously helped your working out and whatnot. Anything you want to say before I end this interview with you?
Yeah, a couple of things. First, I want to shout out Chad George, man, who just fucking closed out his career, 15-year career at Lights Out this past weekend.
Interviewing him tomorrow.
Well, tell him, congratulations, Chad. Closed out his career on a high note, got a submission win, looked fantastic. He's a guy who's been in the sport for a really long time. As long as I've been like training and stuff, he's been around in the South Bay and in the sport.
His hands look good too, man.
Dude, he looked fantastic. He looked sharp everywhere. I'm surprised he didn't look like he was really close on that heel hook in the first. Yeah. And then he had his neck tied up at the end of the first round. And man, he looked very sharp, Came out, looked great. And that's the way to close out the career, Congratulations to him. That Jack May versus Jay Silva thing, the weigh-ins. Did you hear about all that?
Man, I heard about that.
Crazy.
About that.
That's a whole nother. We'll save that talk for another time.
Well, you might have to step in there at some point.
If I were to go to Lights Out, I would definitely want to have a light heavyweight and a heavyweight belt. That would be the first champ. They don't have a light heavyweight champ. That'd be something I'd be interested in potentially.
Yeah.
But shout out to all the Bulletproof Troopers and Bulletproof Troopettes around the globe. And if you're a new fan, you can find me at BlakeTroop.com or at Bulletproof Troop on Instagram, all one word, or at BigTroop22 on Twitter. Come cop some merch. I got the freshest merch in the game.
I love it.
Hand grenades and elbows, baby. Bulletproof Troop, putting the laughter in manslaughter and putting the fun in funeral.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bulletproof Troop.
Click the link below for your official Fighters Rep merchandise and join Knucklehead Nation.